Well, we made hard work of it, but we've made our way through here to the first round proper of the FA Cup in our first full season here with Buxton FC. Fingers crossed we can continue to build up the finances by making a good run in this competition already. Got a TV game here in the first round as we're going to take on Fleetwood Town from League 2. Hello everyone and welcome back to episode number 9 of Rookie to Royalty here on Shaun Does FM with Buxton FC. I hope you're doing well. And coming up today, we've got the first round proper of the FA Cup. We take on Fleetwood Town on a Sunday, so quite a few games already happened there in the first round. And also, it does mean we've got a TV game, 35k about to go into our finances, currently sitting just under 100k, so that's quite useful for us here at a club of our stature. And then depending on what does happen in that game, we'll come back and play maybe the second round if we can somehow knock out here the team from League 2. Otherwise, we've got South Shields coming up in the National League North, and they're up in third, so that's quite a big game that we've got coming up to in the National League. We'll play a couple of games off the back of those qualifiers we did run through during the course of yesterday's episode. If you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. For the most part, our form has been pretty good off the back of that win over Altrincham from up in the Vanarama National League. We did drop points there with a 1-1 draw against Bunbury. We really should have won this game though. A penalty, which was pretty dodgy, scored by Lewis Hall there at the 16-minute mark. Thankfully, Di Girolamo got us an equaliser there nice and early into the second half. But then an injury time penalty, which got saved. So a really big chance for us there to pick up 3 points. Unfortunately, couldn't get the job done there. Apart from the penalties, it was quite an even game though. So I suppose the draw is a fair result. But Banbury are down in 13th, expected to finish 22nd. So a little bit disappointed with that result, even though Junior Stanislas is their manager. Not something I was expecting to see. He's been there since 2024 off the back of retiring at Bournemouth. So an interesting manager there for those guys already. Got his Continental A licence, which does seem a bit too well prepared compared to what we've got here with our manager. But unfortunately, some drop points there off the back of that win over Altrincham. But then, once we got through that FA Cup hangover, picked up some good results. A 4-1 win over Kingsland Town. Those guys did just hire a new manager, being down in the relegation zone, and thankfully still picked up there a 4-1. When I say near the relegation zone, the rock bottom of this league, but thankfully he picked up a nice comfy 4-1 win thanks to goals there to Truman, a double to Di Girolamo, and Tom Elliott also scored to make up there for us conceding the first goal, which is becoming a little bit of a theme here with this Bucks team. But then a top of the table clash as we took on second place Southport. We picked up a 4-2 win, an own goal, which did allow them back in the game off the back of goals just before halftime to Di Girolamo, this time scoring from the penalty spot and Fitzhugh. But then Caden Kelly tried to put the result to bed there at the 73-minute mark. Unfortunately, conceded in injury time to make it 3-2. But then Ashley Easton with a goal that we're going to have to actually show you from this game because it was quite ridiculous to make up for the own goal that he did score stats-wise actually. A little bit fortunate to come away with a win there against the second best team in the league at that stage away from home. But here's the goal which Easton did score. It was a very innocuous highlight, this one, but it was deep in injury time, so I was a bit concerned about what was happening. Thankfully, the goalkeeper in defence had an absolute shocker. Easton scores, certainly not the most astounding goal, but it did surprise me, it's fair to say, that one, even down in the Vanarama National League North. And thankfully, that absolutely made sure in the last minute there of regular time, we picked up a win at the Big Help Stadium down in Southport. So that was a very good result. You can see there the goalkeeper, a 5.6. To be fair, our one hasn't been doing too well off the back of yesterday's episode. Fingers crossed he can pick things up here in this first round of the FA Cup. But then we got the good old FA Cup coming up. Distraction result thing that I have seen happen in other people's saves in the lower leagues of England. Of course, this is actually my first time playing in the lower leagues of England. We suffered a 1-0 defeat to Brackley Town, all the way down in 20th. When we took them on off the back of that result, they've moved up to 19th. A frustrating result for us here. We were definitely the dominant team. We just got FM there with Cunningham coming off the bench, picking up a yellow card straight away and giving away a penalty, which Alan Power, brilliant name, did put away. So unfortunately, we get FM there against Brackley, but to be fair, off the back of that Southport game, probably can't complain too much. Also, frustratingly, they got an injured goalkeeper, albeit that was quite late in the game. If that happened sooner, maybe we would have scored. But unfortunately, we suffer a defeat there off the back of that win in the top of the table clash. But in terms of what it does to the National League table, you would have seen it there, bottom left corner. We are still on top by 3 points these days. Oxford City have moved themselves into second behind that South Shields, who we might take on second up In today's episode, Southport have dropped from second down to fifth, but do still have 2 games in hand. If they win those, they'll move back up into that second spot, only 1 point behind us, and also in that promotion hunt at the moment, Kidderminster Harriers and Chester. So that's how things look in the Vanarama National League North. We'll see if we play a game in that competition second up in today's episode against the South Shields team, who do look quite handy, expected to be the strongest in this division, and their recent form is actually quite mixed, but they are right up there in third on the table, so hopefully can pick up a result there, especially as that one is at home for us. But before then, we've got this FA Cup clash, as I said, a TV one, as we take on Fleetwood Town from League 2. Definitely our toughest game so far, but to be fair, much like when we took on Altrincham from the Vanarama National League yesterday, these guys are struggling all the way down in 19th, albeit we're expected to finish 5th, so they're supposed to be quite a good team here, Fleetwood Town, but currently not looking too good. The Cod, I believe, is their nickname, but they're certainly struggling, so fingers crossed we can make the most of that and pick up a win over them here in the first round of this FA Cup. Thankfully, we've got pretty close here to a full-strength team available for this game. A quick look too, as we're playing on the Sunday, lots of games have happened already in this first round. I'm pretty sure too there's been a couple of Vanarama National teams who have beaten those up in League 2, just trying to find them. In fact, a couple you can see there that Solihull Malls, they got past Crew Alexandra, and also Redcliffe got past Wickham Wanderers all the way up in League 1. So to be fair, if we play as well as we can here, I think we've got a decent chance of picking up a win here in this first round of the FA Cup, and more importantly, get some more money into the club. Only a few games happening on this match day, and we're one of the TV ones. So hopefully can do a decent job here and maybe make our way through the second round, albeit that could then complicate things in terms of our schedule, because the FA Trophy starts, and that's actually a competition we might have a good chance of winning this season with this Buxton team, considering how well we're doing in the Vanarama National League North, because a lot lower tier teams aren't near the top end of that competition compared to if you make your way through the third round of this FA Cup. But if we do that, we would get a pretty big payday. The fellas here getting really enthused about our team talk, which is nice to see. Holy cow, yeah, it's a TV game. We've got a pre-match interview. I haven't had one of these before here in our career as a manager, let alone at all, really. So that's a bit different. We'll make our way through this very slowly. A bit of a deer in the headlights there in terms of being in front of the camera still as a manager, but there's our team. It's our best 11, so hopefully these guys can get the job done there at Fleetwood. They are going with quite a defensive formation, which is interesting against the team from a couple of divisions below them. Not too sure if that's something that I'd do if I was their manager. To be fair, I can't really get 5-at-the-back formations to work in Football Manager. That's why I never do it, so that's the reason we don't do that here. And also, it tends to be quite boring football, but Fitzhugh goes down early there from the first hole. Unfortunately, no penalty given, and Fleetwood here will try and hit us on the counter-attack, of course, with those 5 players they do have at the back. They're starting to sweep forward out wide here, down the right-hand side, a pass forward there that goes to Coughlin, but thankfully, Leek gets back in time there to break that one up. Now, Reece Truman, he's really on his last chance here as our first choice goalkeeper. Otherwise, Hanbury might get another crack. Wasn't too good in the previous game he played, one of those early rounds of FA Cup qualifying, and a good chance there for Fleetwood, but thankfully, just a foot in there does mean that Truman doesn't have to make a save. But the former Liverpool lad of late, his form has been pretty poor, so I'm hopeful he can not do anything too bad here, not cost us a win, and we can make our way through to the next round, albeit that's not a great start. To be fair, though, that's more to do with our set-piece defence, which is actually one of our big weaknesses now here at Buxton. Might need to redo our set-pieces soon, because we concede a lot from these far post and Medley will out-jump Broadbent, who is a pretty average centre-back, honestly. Was expecting a bit more from that signing that we did make, but now we go down the other end here for a free kick of our own Fitzhugh. We'll find Broadbent, who finds Jake Leake, who scrambles at home. Oh, Broadbent, I should have never doubted you. I was slagging you off only a minute ago because you couldn't jump, but thankfully, when we're on the attack, you managed to find a way here to out-jump some players. Heads it down for Leake, their goalkeeper, not too sure what's going on, and Leake can put that one away into the top right corner. So thankfully, not behind for too long here in this first round clash of the FA Cup. Stats-wise, actually, does look like we're slightly on the front foot, a bit of a higher XG, and also getting off more shots and more on target. As I say that, it evens up oh so typically, but now we have a highlight here inside the final third. Fitzhugh here did sag off that ball, which was going to get played to him, but thankfully he actually positions himself quite well to get that one back for us. A nice passing there to Di Girolamo, but he did straight offside after putting it away, so unfortunately it's still 1-1. Get Stobbs here to ease off tackles on that yellow card, just make sure he doesn't get sent off here in a big game. And now we've got a free kick here down the other end. It is to Fleetwood Town. Reece Truman, I think he's learned how to goal keep from Lloris Karius, and I'm not even too sure if Karius was still at Liverpool when this guy actually joined their program. That is shocking work. There's a guy covering. He comes out to get that one on the ground, and Woods puts it away. That is a shocker. In fact, it was Radu, not Woods. I'm just so angry at Reece Truman. I think he might be getting dropped next game. He's sitting on a 6.1. Yeah, that's not too good. Cunningham also can come off here at halftime for Yates. And I'm going to sub our goalkeeper at halftime. Reece Truman, you've been trash of late. So a couple of subs here at halftime. A much deeper bench, though, than we used to in the FA Cup. We've got 9 subs available, and we can make 5. So a lot more than the usual 5 and 3 split that we do have in the Vanarama National League North, and even compared to the qualifiers, where it was 7 on the bench, still could only make 3 subs. With a couple of changes at halftime. We'll leave Stobbs out there because he's definitely our best right-wing option, but that yellow card is a little bit of a concern. But hopefully now with Yates coming on, he can do a better job than Cunningham did in that first half. And also hopefully Hanbury doesn't concede in the second half, and maybe we start him in that South Shields game if we don't take this one to a replay. Big chance there, though, for Di Girolamo. A good start to the second half. Unfortunately, though, he misses the target. He's another player who's struggling so far in this game. So a couple of changes now up front here for us in this one. Di Girolamo on a 6.3 figures can come on him. Now, I think Papaga could be the option here at right wing. It does look like Fitzhugh's still a bit better suited to left, so we'll try Papaga outright. Also make sure that he eases off tackles for the remainder of this game. But we're getting the chances here to get this back to 2-2 off the back of that Truman shocker. Unfortunately, though, we're not taking them, and that could be quite costly with how good an FA Cup run can be down at this level. Now it's a free kick here to Fleetwood, or plays that one in there for one of his teammates. I think that was Bonds. Now it goes back there to Hunt. Some good short passing. They play that one forward there to Harvey Curry, who puts it away top right corner, but thankfully not too spicy for us, that one. He is offside, so we're still only 2-1 down. When they get chances, they're taking them quite well, and we're not. That seems to be the difference so far in this game. We're certainly looking a bit better than they are, even though the XG is a bit high. Overall shots and chances created is better. We're just in front on possession. Just can't quite make the most of it. With our final sub here, we'll take off Caden Kelly on a 6.6 for Charlie Paver. He'll come on here. He's been quite handy at scoring goals for us recently, so let's see if he can provide some bench impact for us here in that central attacking midfield role as we make our way into the final 10 minutes. Time for us here now go attacking. One last encourage, but unfortunately nothing doing as we're about to make our way into 5 minutes here of added time. Now I think it's time for us here to go all out in terms of attack. We'll go extra high tempo, be more expressive, go wider, and also all the players on support that we can put onto attack, we'll do that with. So both our fullbacks as well as our wingers and the central attacking midfielder, they can go onto attack. And let's hope we can find a way here to grab something late. Also, we'll go ever so slightly more direct, not actually direct, but standard passing directness. Let's see if that helps us out here late in this game. But we probably did that a bit too late, and we lose in the first round of the FA Cup. Honestly, that feels like a bit of a missed opportunity. Those stats are pretty heavily weighted in our favour, and then the XG actually ended up being in our favour as well. That's a super frustrating result for us to. I think I also saw 14 corners to none, so we really need to be a lot better at those set pieces. Truman, I think you're getting dropped now, mate, because that actually cost us quite a bit there, not taking that game to a replay. Yeah, Reece Truman might be sitting on the bench for that next one that we come back for when we take on South Shields. But that, unfortunately, brings to a close our FA Cup journey for this season. Thankfully, even though that was a home game, it was on TV. Still going to get quite a bit of money for that one, considering I think our finances at the start of the season were around 50k. We should get around that from that game alone. So that is quite a big one for us here with Buxton FC. But unfortunately, not a winning result as we make our way through here this post-match interview Yeah, I'm a bit salty about that one. Reece Truman, not happy with your Reece. We might even show you the average rating before we come back for that next game, which Hanbury will probably start in when we take on South Shields. But unfortunately, our FA Cup journey comes to an end there off the back of a 2-1 loss to the COD Army. So unfortunately, thanks largely to Reece Truman, our FA Cup run for this season does come to an end. And also, that's back-to-back defeats for the first time here as a manager in our career and also at Buxton FC. So hopefully we can turn that around here as we're about to take on South Shields. Also, as I mentioned it before that first game in today's episode, our finances now very, very healthy off the back of the FA Cup game. In fact, it actually got boosted up more than I thought it would. The money from that TV game, we could potentially ask for another coaching badge, but I'm actually recording this ahead of time. Well, you guys have told me if I'm allowed more than one a year for those, but fingers crossed we can get something out of that. If not a coaching badge, maybe some improvements in youth recruitment or something for a youth intake later this season. But a fair bit of money now compared to what they had when we joined them earlier this year, when in trouble back around March. So certainly improving here at Buxton, top of the Vanarama National League North, and also we've now got some money in our bank account. But it's time for us to switch our attention back here to the Vanarama National League North for a little while before we get stuck into the FA Trophy. Not too sure what the early rounds of that will look like, but that's certainly a competition I think we could go quite deep and hopefully might take on some rubbish teams early on, kind of like we did in the qualifiers of that FA Cup. But now, close to a top of the table clash here in the Vanarama National League North as we take on South Shields. They got beaten by Shrewsbury 2-0 in the first round of the FA Cup. To be fair, quite a similar result to the one we picked up, seeing as those guys in a kind of similar position in League 2. They're expected to actually finish below Fleetwood, but doing a lot better. So I think that result quite comparable. We managed to score a goal while they didn't. So hopefully we can actually do something decent here against this team down in third, and especially because this one is at home. These guys are supposed to be the strongest team in the division. As you'll see through the season preview, lots of purpley maroon there with blue. It looks like a West Ham team. That's South Shields, and they dominate that best 11. So hopefully we can find a way here to take some points off them at home and get back into some sort of form off the back of those two defeats, which we have just suffered. And we have made some changes despite the fact there's been a 6-day gap in between those games. Quite a few of our players are still somehow tired. We have actually got a few more staff in off the back of the last couple of episodes. I just asked, and our board decided that we could do that. We've got one extra coach and also, more importantly, one extra physio. Unfortunately, it hasn't helped us there with the recovery going into this game. But obviously, Hanbury comes in. That's not based on recovery. That's because Truman has been blooming awful of late. A 6.42 average rating. Hopefully, my face cam's not blocking it. But he's been woeful. He now makes his way down into our under-18s. So instead, Eric Hanbury, the former Manchester United goalkeeper, will get his first crack here in the Vanarama National League North. Of course, did play a game for us, and I think that first qualifier we did play of the FA Cup didn't do too well, but didn't cost us a game. So hopefully that's an improvement on what Truman's been doing. And also, there's quite a few changes in other areas of the pitch. Yates comes in at right back. Lindley and Elliott in midfield. Curtin, Pavey and Bapaga, they're there in attacking midfield. And Di Girolamo still up front. Can handle playing on a heavy workload. Probably not the greatest idea with that heavy workload coming back from a recent injury. But hopefully it doesn't prove too costly. He's definitely in better form than Ryan Biggers is. So we'll stick with him here for this game ahead of Biggers, and hopefully he can score us some goals, unlike what happened in that previous game there in the first round of the FA Cup. He actually also let us down a bit with some chances that he missed in that game. Did put one away, but of course he was offside, which was pretty frustrating. Definitely felt like that was a game we could have taken to a replay at the very least, especially if we took our chances and maybe we put Hanbury in goal earlier instead of Blimmin Reece Truman. He might be the carriers of our time here at Buxton FC. But our form all of a sudden not looking as good as it usually does coming in to a game, and lots of rotation, as I said. But surprised it's that heavy of a rotation we're having to do here with a 6-day gap off the back of the FA Cup game. And it didn't even go to extra time. A little bit surprised that the recovery has been so poor here with this Buxton team. But I suppose Vanarama National League North can't expect players to be too professional at this stage of their careers. But we'll get underway here. It's an early free kick to the away team in South Shields. They put that one far post. So again, looking a little bit suspect here from set piece, but thankfully that time that header does go off target, and it's still 0-0 to make our way past the 10-minute mark now here. South Shields do look like they're on the attack, but thankfully we've got the ball. They're definitely putting us here under a bit more pressure than most teams do with a press. That's interesting compared to most teams we take on here in the Vanarama National League North. Now, Elliott with a wonderful strike going straight into the top right corner. It's been given as an Alex Finney own goal, which honestly, that feels super, super harsh. Even if it's just a minor deflection, that's still a wonderful strike, this one from Tom Elliott. He takes this one on. It must just be a glancing touch there of a shoot or something. But apparently, it's a Finney own goal. We're 1-0 in front, but apparently still not hit a shot on target. Honestly, Tom Elliott can feel pretty dirty about that one. The good interception from Pavey as we get that ball back. Unfortunately, though, we hoof it deep, and now we try and win the ball back. But a poor pass there, and Elliott again will get that ball for us. Tries to put that one top left corner, but this time not quite on target, not quite as accurate as he was from that chance that we did have before. And now down the other end here for another chance for South Shields. Looks like they're definitely trying to get us here from headers, which to be fair, based on our recent form, isn't the worst idea. A potential free kick for them again. We did just go balanced, and thankfully cut out that highlight bit of cheesiness there from me. But I do want to win this game, otherwise things could get very tight up near the top of that Vanarama National League North. At the very least, pick up a draw against the team expected to be quite dominant in this division. That would be quite a nice result, especially off back of back-to-back defeats that we have just suffered. But that will do it for the first half. Honestly, that was pretty quick. That's what she said. But that own goal to Finney, which was definitely a wonder strike from Tom Elliott, a little bit harsh. That wasn't given as just a regular goal does mean that we're 1-0 in front. And thankfully, we haven't conceded any stupid goals yet. So I think Reece Truman might be in trouble, at least in terms of keeping a spot for the Vanarama National League North games. If we do have to play him in that FA Trophy and we take on some really rubbish teams, maybe we'll consider. Of course, we've also got that goalkeeper we called up from our under-21s when we got here, but I think he's even worse. But a long ball over the top again pays off there, just like it did for that first goal, which we did score. And Girolamo this time will put away their effort from around the edge of the box and also from a pretty tight angle. And Hanbury gets an assist. He's looking definitely a lot better than Reece Truman was in that previous game, but so far going a bit direct in this game is paying off. I was still telling the guys to play shorter passing, but they're not too good. It looks like here South Shields at dealing with those balls over the top. And now we've got a corner nice and early here in the second half. Unfortunately, though, the goalkeeper in Seymour can come out and claim that one. But all of a sudden, looking pretty good here for 3 points from this game. They pumped that one deep. Thankfully, Eastham is there to tidy things up. Broadbent plays that went out the other league. Elliott to Papaga, definitely playing well so far is Elliott in this game. A bit unlucky, as I said, with that own goal, which did get credited to South Shields. And a good chance there that we do, unfortunately, just put wide. But lots of chances for us early here in the second half. We've taken one. If we can make it 3-0, we'll certainly feel quite confident about picking up the 3 points from this game. But so far, pretty dominant in this one. But South Shields here on the attack for the first time from open play. And that's a really good chance there as one of their strikers gets just in behind Leak. But Hanbury comes up with a really good save to keep this one at 2-0. And then another save from that corner. So Hanbury on a green rating, one of the few players in our team with one of those. So our new goalkeeper who stepped in for this game, doing a pretty good job. It's fair to say. Now a corner though to South Shields. They go far post, and Matt Smith will head that one home, quite similar to the goal we conceded first up in that Fleetwood Town game. No stopping that one from Hanbury. There's lots of players there at the far post. I'm pretty sure we're tightly marking Matt Smith. He might be quite a handy player there for the South Shields lineup, but unfortunately, they find a way back into this one and make it 2-1. Now, Archie Curtin drops down to a red heart on an orange injury. Jack Stobbs on a heavy workload coming to this game. So we might bring on here Ryan Biggers, who ideally would have come on for Di Girolamo if we got this game under control. Unfortunately, not quite the case now, though. But a free kick here. Di Girolamo takes it short. Some good short passing. Lindley puts it wide, but also he moved offside. So unfortunately, we kind of ruined a good chance there from a short free kick, but now a ball over the top again. It pays off. Papaga will win the race to that one. Squares it for Charlie Pavey, who puts it away. Those balls over the top today are working a treat. We still have not changed what we usually do. We're supposed to be doing shorter passing, but these free kicks that we're getting, we're going deep, and it's paying off big time here against the South Shields team That cross might have taken a bit of a deflection, but Papaga will still get the assist on that one, and Pavey will pick up a goal to make it 3-1. And surely now we can hold on and pick up 3 points from this game and make sure we keep ourselves on top of the National League North. So Giblin can come on for League. One of the players who came to this one on a heavy workload. We'll take him off now that this game should be pretty well under control at 3-1 with only 20 minutes left. To be fair, stats-wise, haven't actually been that good. We've only got 2 shots on target in the game, have scored 3 goals. So nice work there from that corner, and Biggers gets a good chance, but unfortunately can't quite keep that one on target. Just over the bar on the volley, but certainly looking dangerous here. If we can make it 4-1, that would certainly put this game to bed. But this has been quite an impressive performance from us so far here in this game. But South Shields there try and play a ball over the top, thankfully just deal with the danger, and a good header away there. I think that might have been from Eastham, and Pavey can now find Papaga, who gets in behind tight angle. Will take on the shot, but Seymour makes a very good save there to keep it at 3-1. But we're certainly pressing here to put a bit of hurting on South Shields in this game. A corner, we do a short routine, try and float that one far post. Unfortunately, South Shields can clear that one away. Lindley gets that ball back for us now. Giblin keeps us on the attack, tries to square that one. Unfortunately, it does get cut out, and South Shields here do keep the balls. This highlight will continue. A bit concerningly now, this is a very long highlight. Usually that means something in Football Manager, and Matt Smith, he stayed on side for, he might have been off there a little bit, but unfortunately, yet again South Shields have found a way back into this game off the back of a couple of really good chances for us down the other end. They hit us on the counter attack. Smith there does get in behind. I think that would be Eastham. No, it's Broadbent. He's a little bit average, honestly. As I said in that previous game, let's hope again off the back of that, he now helps us score a goal, like what happened in that Fleetwood Town game. But nothing Hanbury can do about that effort into the top right corner. Albeit his rating drops by 0.6 off the back of that, but now a free kick shortly off the back of that, and Matt Smith completes a hat-trick. We are so poor aerially in this team at the back from dead ball situations. We were so comfortably in control of this one. In the space of only a few minutes, we've gone from having a 3-1 lead to it being 3-all. That's Pavey there, who for some reason is marking a guy there at the far post, our central attacking midfielder. And then we can see we'll take off Broadbent. I think for Cunningham, he's got a bit of height about him. I think both him and Yates can play centre back, but Cunningham is a bit taller. So we're going to take off here Broadbent on a 6.4. Not too sure about him as well as Truman, but to be fair, our options as replacements in this game anyway aren't too hot, and he has helped us out occasionally. Don't think he's quite on the Truman level yet of about to be dropped, but still, that's frustrating. We'll go more direct off the back of that, a free kick there to South Shields, but thankfully we just do enough there to make sure we win that ball and don't give away a penalty. We have gone more direct off the back of conceding that third goal, because as you've seen so far, has been paying off in this game from the highlights that we have seen. Yates will put that one into the mixer for Alamo. A bit of a double chance there. The goalkeeper just keeps that one from going into the back of the net, but wouldn't count it anyway as he was offside. We make our way now into 6 minutes of added time. So to be fair, still a fair while we've got left here in this game, but it doesn't take us long to make our way through that. It's a frustrating draw. You look well in control of that game, 3-1 up with only about 20 minutes left, but Matt Smith with a blinder of a second half there striker picks up a hat-trick, and we do kind of bowl a couple of points there in that game. Some really good impact early. Tom Elliott with the own goal off of Finney. A really good strike, but unfortunately didn't get credit for it. Then Alamo made it 2-0. They made it 2-1 through Smith, but then Charlie Pavey made it 3-1. Now I thought we had that one pretty well under control, but then some pretty average work at the back there. A nice through ball for Smith's second goal, and also then that free kick, which we continue to be pretty vulnerable from here with this Buxton team. Does mean it's a 3-all draw. Certainly not a bad result against the team who were expected to be quite heavy favourites in this division. But after having a 3-1 lead, it certainly feels like a couple of points dropped instead of us gaining one. Hopefully that won't prove too costly, and we can keep our spot here on top of the Vanarama National League North. And indeed we do, but that certainly makes things closer up top of the back of Oxford, picking up a 2-0 win over Chorley. So a pretty frustrating draw for us there. Second up in today's episode off the back of that frustrating loss in the FA Cup first round. Have just noticed too, Tom Broadbent, a former South Shields player. Maybe we should have gone with one of our other centre-backs for that game if I cheaped on that. But yeah, to be fair, his overall rating here hasn't been too bad. Just feels like that sometimes he is a bit mistake prone. So unfortunately, Tom Broadbently not helping us in that second game of today's episode. And also, of course, Reece Truman in that first one. Pink Hambry did a lot better. Of course, got an assist for that goal, which Di Girolamo did score. But then that rating did go down quite a bit with those late goals that we did concede. Curtin, that injury, thankfully, not too serious. A tight cast will just get him on general rehab. He should be back in time for our next game, but hopefully won't need to use him. Stobbs will be back at right wing as we take on Darlington. But unfortunately, Matt Smith there proves the difference maker. Does the 35-year-old powerful striker, who, to be fair, does have some pretty good attributes there. Bravery, teamwork, balance, jumping, reach. No wonder he scored a few goals there from set pieces. Did the man who spent a fair bit of time at championship clubs like Millwall, QPR, Fulham and Leeds United. So he has been at some quite big clubs. Here's that guy who just scored a hat-trick against us. And unfortunately, he was the difference maker there as we do drop points there to South Shields. But to be fair, at least we're still on top of the Vanarama National League North, but these days by just 1 point over Oxford. So getting a bit closer up the top there of the National League North. But that will do it for today's episode. Unfortunately, our form now not looking too good. It's fair to say a couple of losses and that draw against South Shields. But if you enjoyed that one, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. Now, what we come back for in the next episode probably depends on who we get in this FA Trophy. Not too sure how good the teams are yet. Early stages of that competition should be a bit easier than the FA Cup. And as I said, based on how we're going so far this season, at least up until today's episode, I think we've got a decent chance of going quite deep in that FA Trophy. So it could be a competition that we do focus on alongside the Vanarama National League North for the remainder of the season. But to be fair, the remainder of our games here in November do look relatively winnable. So I think we might come back in December if that FA Trophy game looks like a little bit of an easy kill. We've got Oxford City coming up in the middle of December, of course. Those guys currently in second slot is a big game we definitely should come back for. And just before then, Hereford, who did beat us last season, they're in 21st. You might be wondering why I think this game might be quite interesting. They've just got a new manager and they're scoring lots of goals all of a sudden. They've scored 17 goals in their last 3 games since he's got there. Did concede a few in that most recent win over Alfreton Town, a 6-5 result, but that certainly could be an entertaining game against a team who are expected to be up in the playoff picture. So I think we'll come back tomorrow, take on a Hereford team who could be on the rise, and also Oxford City in what could be a top of the table clash. So until then, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.